The most shocking double cross in WWE history just went down, and Bron Breakker, the man everyone thought was the Vision's loyal enforcer, just revealed he's been playing everyone from day one while simultaneously doing the unthinkable by attacking Brock Lesnar before the biggest match of the year. When Bron looked into the camera and said, "I never liked him," he wasn't just betraying his supposed allies, he was declaring war on the entire WWE power structure, destroying alliances that took months to build, and establishing himself as the most dangerous and unpredictable force on either brand heading into Survivor Series. By the time I break down exactly how Bron orchestrated this betrayal, why he targeted both the Vision and Brock Lesnar in one devastating move, what this means for Survivor Series and every major storyline connected to it, you're going to understand why this is either the most brilliant or most reckless career decision Bron has ever made. Let me paint the picture of how this catastrophic betrayal unfolded, because every detail makes the deception more calculated and more devastating. For months, Bron Breakker had been the Vision's muscle, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory's enforcer, who handled their dirty work, destroyed their opponents, and protected them from retaliation. Bron seemed like the perfect loyal soldier, never questioning orders, always executing the Vision's plans, appearing to be completely committed to the group's success. Everyone, fans, wrestlers, management, believed Bron was all in with the Vision. But according to what Bron revealed in his betrayal promo, that loyalty was fake from the beginning. Bron claims he never respected Waller or Theory, never believed in their vision, and was only using them to build his own position while waiting for the perfect moment to destroy them and establish himself as the alpha on his own terms. That level of deception, that calculated long con where Bron pretended loyalty for months while secretly planning betrayal, is psychological warfare at its most sophisticated and brutal level. The betrayal happened during The Vision segment where Waller and Theory were cutting a promo about their Survivor Series plans and their continued dominance. Bron was standing behind them as usual, the silent enforcer providing physical intimidation while the talkers did their work. Everything seemed normal until Waller made a comment, something dismissive about Bron being useful or knowing his role. That comment, whether scripted or improvised, was the trigger that set everything in motion. Bron's expression changed. The obedient soldier look disappeared, replaced by something dark and menacing. Before anyone could process what was happening, Bron grabbed Grayson Waller and hit a devastating spear that looked like it broke Waller in half. The crowd erupted in shock because this came completely out of nowhere. There had been zero hints of tension between Bron and the Vision in recent weeks. Austin Theory tried to fight back, but Bron was in a rage, hitting Theory with a power slam that left him unconscious on the mat. But Bron wasn't done with just physical destruction. He grabbed a microphone and delivered the promo that changed everything. "You want to know the truth? I never liked these guys. From day one, I thought Grayson and Austin were jokes. Two guys who talk big but can't back it up without me doing their dirty work. I let them think they were using me, but I was using them. I was building my reputation on their platform, waiting for the right moment to take what I deserve. And that moment? It's now." The arena went absolutely insane. Half the crowd was cheering Bron for the badass heel turn, the other half was booing the betrayal. The announcers were frantically trying to process what this meant for every storyline the Vision had been involved in. Waller and Theory were still down, destroyed by their own supposed ally. And Bron was standing tall, making it clear he was done being anyone's soldier and was ready to be his own man. Then came the part that took this from shocking betrayal to absolute insanity. Bron continued, "And while I'm making statements about people I'm done with, there's someone else who's been walking around like he owns WWE, someone who thinks showing up part-time makes him special, someone who I'm sick of hearing about. Brock Lesnar." The crowd somehow got louder because nobody expected Bron to call out the beast incarnate. Bron continued, "Brock, you're scheduled for Survivor Series, some big return match where everyone's supposed to be scared and impressed. Well, I'm not impressed. I'm not scared. And I'm going to make sure you don't make it to Survivor Series healthy, if you make it at all. Because I'm the real monster on this roster, and it's time everyone, including you, recognized that." That declaration of war against Brock Lesnar sent the wrestling world into absolute chaos. Bron just betrayed his faction and called out the most dangerous wrestler in WWE history in the same segment. The sheer audacity of targeting both the Vision and Brock simultaneously suggested either incredible confidence or complete recklessness, and everyone was trying to figure out which one it was. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Security tried to restore order while medical personnel checked on Waller and Theory. Bron walked to the back with purpose, ignoring everyone trying to talk to him, clearly on a mission. And everyone was wondering, when and how is Bron going to make good on his threat against Brock Lesnar before Survivor Series? The answer came days later during Brock's scheduled return appearance. Brock was supposed to cut a promo about his Survivor Series opponent and re-establish his dominance. He walked out with Paul Heyman, the crowd going crazy for the Beast's return. Brock got in the ring, took the microphone, and started to speak. And that's when Bron Breakker attacked from the crowd, jumping the barricade and blindsiding Brock with a clothesline that sent the Beast crashing to the mat. The assault that followed was vicious and relentless. Bron wasn't just attacking Brock, he was trying to injure him, trying to make good on his promise to keep Brock from making it to Survivor Series. Multiple spears, A Frankensteiner from the second rope that had everyone gasping because Brock never takes moves like that. Bron was unleashing years of pent-up aggression, proving he wasn't intimidated by Brock's reputation or legend. Security eventually pulled Bron off of Brock, but the damage was done. Brock was holding his ribs, clearly hurt. Paul Heyman was screaming at everyone to get Bron away from his client. And Bron was fighting against security trying to get back to Brock, shouting "I'm the monster now," over and over. The visual of Brock Lesnar down and hurting, of Bron Breakker having to be restrained by multiple security guards, of Paul Heyman looking terrified for his client, that's imagery that will be replayed for years. Now let's break down the implications of what Bron just did, starting with the Vision. By betraying Waller in theory, Bron destroyed what had been one of Raw's most prominent factions. The Vision without their enforcer is like a gang without muscle. They can talk all they want, but they don't have the physical threat that made people take them seriously. Waller in theory now have to completely rebuild their approach, either recruiting new muscle, which won't be as good as Bron, or evolving their characters to be less reliant on intimidation. But more importantly, Bron revealed that their entire partnership was built on lies. Every victory they celebrated together, every moment of apparent unity, every display of brotherhood, all of it was Bron pretending while secretly despising them. That's devastating on a psychological level because it means Waller in theory were used and manipulated for months without realizing it. Their judgment is now questioned. How did they not see the betrayal coming? That makes them look foolish in addition to making them physically vulnerable. For Bron Breakker personally, this double betrayal is his declaration of independence and his announcement that he's ready to be the guy, not someone's backup. By taking out both the Vision and attacking Brock Lesnar, Bron positioned himself as someone who fears nobody and follows no one. That's the character identity of a main event star, someone so confident in their abilities that they'll create enemies with everyone simultaneously because they believe they can handle the consequences. But the risk is enormous. Bron now has enemies everywhere. The Vision wants revenge for the betrayal. Brock Lesnar wants revenge for the attack. Anyone who was aligned with either group now views Bron as a threat. Bron has deliberately isolated himself and made himself a target for multiple opponents who will be coming after him from different directions. That's either brilliant confidence or suicidal recklessness depending on whether Bron can actually handle fighting on multiple fronts. The Brock Lesnar attack specifically is the most dangerous element of Bron's plan. Attacking the Beast incarnate before a major match isn't just bold, it's inviting destruction. When Brock recovers from this attack, his response is going to be biblical in its violence. Brock doesn't forget disrespect, and attacking him from behind and trying to injure him is the ultimate disrespect. Bron just guaranteed that he's going to be Brock's #1 target for months, possibly years. Every time Brock shows up, Bron is going to be looking over his shoulder wondering if that's the day Brock decides to collect on the debt. The Survivor Series implications are massive. If Brock is legitimately hurt from Bron's attack, his match at Survivor Series could be in jeopardy. That affects not just Brock but his scheduled opponent and the entire event card. WWE has to decide whether to acknowledge Bron's attack as having real consequences, making Bron look dangerous but potentially derailing a major Survivor Series match, or have Brock no-sell the attack, protecting the event but making Bron's assault seem ineffective. The locker room reaction to Bron's actions has been reportedly intense and divided. Some wrestlers admire the balls it took to betray a faction and attack Brock Lesnar in the same week. They see Bron as someone who refused to stay in a box, who took his career into his own hands regardless of consequences. These wrestlers respect the ambition and fearlessness even if they think the execution was risky. But other wrestlers think Bron committed career suicide by making so many powerful enemies simultaneously. They believe Bron should have betrayed the Vision or challenged Brock, not both at once. They think Bron's ego wrote checks his body can't cash, and they're waiting to see him get destroyed by forces he's not ready to handle. These wrestlers are taking a wait-and-see approach, curious whether Bron's bold moves lead to elevation or destruction. The character development for Bron through this betrayal is massive. He's no longer the young prospect following others' leads. He's the predator operating on his own instincts and making his own decisions regardless of who gets hurt. That evolution from follower to leader, from muscle to main eventer, from prospect to established threat, that's the character arc that creates stars if executed properly. The Paul Heyman reaction adds another layer because Heyman's protective of Brock and furious that someone attacked his client. Heyman's verbal response to Bron is going to be devastating, using his legendary promo skills to destroy Bron's credibility, question his intelligence, and promise retribution that makes Bron regret ever hearing the name Brock Lesnar. That verbal warfare creates compelling television that builds heat for the inevitable physical confrontation. The match that will happen between Bron and Brock is guaranteed to be brutal. When these two finally face off in a sanctioned environment, it's going to be a war where Bron has to prove he can hang with Brock's level of violence and Brock has to reassert his dominance over someone who dared to challenge him. The intensity of that match, fueled by real betrayal heat and physical assault, will create one of the most memorable confrontations of the year. What Bron Breakker did by betraying the Vision and attacking Brock Lesnar before Survivor Series wasn't just creating storylines, it was declaring that he's ready to be the face of WWE's next generation regardless of who stands in his way. Whether you think Bron's double betrayal was brilliant career positioning or reckless ego that's going to get him destroyed, whether you're excited to see Bron's rise or waiting to see his fall, whether you believe he can actually back up this audacity with performance, all of it comes down to Bron saying, "I never liked him" about the Vision while simultaneously declaring war on Brock Lesnar. The monster is loose, the enemies are circling, and Survivor Series season just became infinitely more dangerous and unpredictable because Bron Breakker decided to burn every bridge and fight every battle simultaneously. And wrestling is about to find out if that makes him a genius or a cautionary tale.